So thank you. Super. So right now, I am just extremely thrilled. When it comes to construction, when it comes to the trade, it's something that people don't know much about, or they don't know where to go. They interested, they want to know what's going on, but they really don't have an idea as to how to get in, how to join, or how to register, what are the salaries, is it as diverse as we think it is, and so on and so forth. So today, what I'll be doing is I'll be talking about, I'm gonna just share my screen, bear with me, so that I'll give you exactly a bit of synopsis as to what we're going to do today. My eyes today are just not, I don't know what is going on, but it's not happening. And once one of my special guests arrives, please let me know you're on or you're in. I would love to know that you're here, and then we could definitely start and talking. Oh yeah, MJ just joined. So what I'm going to talk about, first and foremost, we're going to talk about construction. So I'm going to ask, I wanted to make sure that we have enough people on the bridge so that we could, but I think we do. We have right now 17. So Fatma, can you please put the poll? Because I want to know, I want people to let us know what they think about carpentry. What does a carpenter in Canada do? And if you could please go ahead. I'm just going to, it's menti.com. So Fatma, if you could put that on the link. And then from there, we're going to start. Because I'll be doing the introductions afterwards once all my guests are here. So what careers exist in the construction industry? So what you need to do right now, just go onto your phone and click on www.ment as in Tom I.com. And afterwards, once you're there, you click on 67894192. So I'm going to repeat the code. If you could please go to www.menti.com and use the code 67894192. And then from there, just answer. You will see when you're answering, it will just give you right away. You will start seeing it on the screen. I like that. Somehow my eyes today are not okay. So again, for those who are joining now, please go to www.menti.com on your phones and click the code, or you could even do it on your computer if you want. And then put the code 6789, just like you see on the screen, 4192. And then please tell us the type of careers that exist in the construction industry. Don't be shy. If those don't have access to the internet right now, okay, perfect. It's coming in. It's coming in. And you have up to 3 answers if you want. For those joining us right now, go ahead and on your computer, on your tablet or iPad or your phone, go to either your Explorer or your phone, and then keep on clicking on, go and search on the browser, www.menti.com, and then the code 67894192. So far we have carpenter, electrician, plumber, a builder. What else? Remember, we have people that are also in the office. I'm going to give you hints. People that are in the office doing construction or running the team or just like the corporate world, right? So don't forget to add those. The people managing the projects. Hint, hint. I'm going to see this. Awesome. What about a project manager, everyone? What about a site supervisor, the foreman? So this is good. I am really happy to see that we have few answers. That means some people know, some people don't know, or some people are just shy. Or if you want to put it on the chat too and you don't have access to put it in there. Oh, framer, perfect. Plumber, electrical, the crane operators. What else? Okay. So what we'll do is the next questions now. Oh, it's still coming in. Okay, we'll wait a bit. I guess people are just putting, there's HR, okay, the builder, civil engineer, okay, the estimator. So people are still joining. So people are still entering the information. We'll give it 1 more minute and then we'll go to the next question. What careers exist in the construction industry? For those who just joined us, thank you and welcome. And you just need to go to your browser on your phone, computer, or tablet and or iPad, www.menti.com, and put the code, key in the code 67894192. So 1 more minute. Yeah, roofer. Awesome. Tile maker, okay. Awesome. What about those who are making the floors, which is really the carpenter, but I'm not gonna give tips, sorry. Okay, perfect. So thank you very much. So Fatma, can you put the next question for me, please? I'm just gonna... And Chris is here, MJ is here, this is awesome. So the next question now, it would be to tell us, what does a carpenter do in Canada? Because in other countries, as you know, it's different. So if you could please just go back to www.menti.com. If you're already there, that's great. Code 67894192. And after this one, we'll give it a few minutes. If some people are having error messages, please go ahead and you could definitely put it on the chat. Oh, people are still coming in. For those who are joining right now, thank you so much for being part of the Level Up program, where we're talking about skilled trades in construction, organized by Afropolitan Canada and sponsored by CIBC. Welcome. So for those who have access to the internet right now, I'm sure you do, I shouldn't say that, but if you wish, go ahead and click on www.menti.com, MENTI.com. 67894192 is the code you need to enter and give us some information, because all these answers you're providing are amazing and are great. And then afterward, we'll go in depth about it with our special guest. I have here placing a roof, making furnitures, build structures of wood, repair, construction, shaping, working, cutting, build, framing, making furnitures, building. woodwork. What about those who are laying out? Built, repair. When it's really big here, it just shows that a lot of people wrote repair. Okay, so one more minute, and then from there I'll introduce my special guest. Woodwork, placing a roof. So you see, Chris, MJ. So you see today we have quite a few people. They're giving us the right answers and some of them not sure. So we're going to, let me see on the chat. I can't see today very well, which is really bad, but we'll see. Tile maker, oh, that's from the previous question. Okay, so what we'll do is one more minute. So the code is 67894192. Oh, do you know what? Let me just put it on the chat too. For those who just want to click on it right away. I'm so sorry. I should have done that. Mentee.com. So you could just click on it right away. / and then from there, oops. I hope I didn't. Okay. And then the code is 67894192. Okay, perfect. So on that note, so what we will do is now, oh, people are still joining. So on that note right now, thank you so much for your participation. So what I want to do today and what we want to do also would be to make sure that we have an interactive workshop. So we will be having a few polls. We will have a fireside chat about diversity and inclusion. And prior to that, we're just going to discuss a bit who we are, what we do, and also what the College of Carpenters Union offers with the apprenticeship program, and from there tackle everything else and questions and answers. So it's really an open discussion. So please feel free to ask us questions. So first and foremost, thank you. My name is Rokhaya Gueye. I'm originally from Senegal and grew up in Toronto. Here, I am a quadrilingual person. I speak 4 different languages, and I'm extremely happy to be here today, and really like to thank first and foremost Afropolitan Canada, hi Chris, Afropolitan Canada, and CIBC for putting this platform over. I am somebody who you cannot put on a box. I wear many hats. So I'm a community organizer. I'm a carpenter. And this is something that I enjoy, and you'll learn more and more about it a bit later. I am also a serial entrepreneur and a mother and so many different things. I've been doing construction. I would say I graduated in George Brown College as a construction engineer, technician management 22 years ago. Yes, 22 years ago. And then from there, volunteered, I worked with my dad, done some renovation, build decks, so on and so forth. Then fast forward, I'm just admitting people in. Just then fast forward, I've volunteered at Habitat for Humanity for a couple of years. And I've been also volunteering for $1 Million Smiles, which is really a non-for-profit organization where it's geared towards a building playground for children battling critical illnesses. So we would every summer go fundraise, make sure we have a certain amount, which is $3,500. And I would make sure that I bring all the volunteered, about 20 to 25 on a Saturday. We build an entire playground, surprise playground for a child who's battling a critical illness and bringing a smile to their face. And it's something that I've been doing since 2013. The reason I joined carpentry, the reason I joined or I want construction is because if I rewind a few years back, I was a single mom, lived in a townhouse, things were falling down. And every single time, guess what? I will wait till my neighbor husband comes home to come help me. We're fixing the blinds, fixing the windows, fixing things where I'm like, this is not happening. What can I do? Where I went to Canadian Tire, purchased my drill, the box, everything like people do, and then I didn't know. Back then, YouTube wasn't as crazy as it is. We don't have social media. So it was just an eye opener. I was accepted to go either in pharmaceutical or construction because I was looking into what to do. And I'm like, hey, shorter route, construction, and why not? This is something I love, and I've done it. Fast forward, when I finished the program, got hired, I was so ecstatic, starting at $45 an hour with the union, working at airport, Pearson, did the orientation. Following day, they said the program, we start work at 7 a.m. Guess what? Daycare opens at 7 a.m. Couldn't do the job. So started working, and that's how I went and worked at Rogers Communication and had a different, I had to pivot completely. So I had a different career, worked as a manager, worked at Rogers for 17 years and a half. Then during that time, moved on several different departments, like 9 of them, and then became one of those managers, had a team, winning teams, so on and so forth. However, my heart always been about construction. So that's why I was doing on the side. I was volunteering. No matter what I did, it was always bringing me back. So in 2019, when I got laid off, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I could literally now pivot back and go back to what I love best. So I started looking into it. I found online the Toronto Community Benefit Network, who gave me the opportunity to join the construction trade, the construction industry. And from there, I met the wonderful Chris Campbell, who also, we went into some different, like I volunteered outside talking about construction, telling people to come join the trade, and became one of the carpenters union. So I'm going to just stop here and then pass the mic to my girl, MJ. She's going to introduce herself. She's been in construction for about, with the Carpenters Union, about 11 years. I'm going to let her just introduce herself, and then afterward we'll introduce Chris. Thank you very much. Go ahead, MJ. You might be on mute, MJ. Oh, she's here.
Hi, Rokhaya. I'm here. Just had a little bit of issue getting unmuted. My name is Musilius Joe. Not as interesting and fabulous as Rokhaya, but I've been a carpenter with Local 27 for the last 11 years. I began my journey through the SCAS program, through the Scarborough Center for Alternative Studies, and then I was able to join Local 27 and complete my apprenticeship. My working experience includes scaffold, millwork, decking, fencing, siding installation, and now I'm currently employed as a concrete form worker. I'm also a mentor with the Toronto Community Benefit Network and a member of the Equity and Diversity Committee at Local 27, and also a member of the Black Collision Trades Union.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, thank you. MJ, always happy to have you. She's a colleague of mine. She works in, she has more knowledge than me though, actually. She's just trying to be humble, but she's humbled, I mean, but she has more experience. Um, she's an expert when it comes to the trade and she has a wealth of knowledge. So you will hear about it even more later on. Just wanted to let you know as well that Carine Kouamen is on the line, but she will be joining us a bit later. So she'll be introducing herself later on. Now I'll pass the mic to Chris Campbell, who, well, because I wouldn't do justice to his bio, I'll let him speak. And go ahead, over to you, Chris.
I am Jay and MJ and Rokhaya. Hold on, let me get this screen up here. Yeah. Yeah, I recognize MJ and Rokhaya. Hey guys, and hi to everyone. Like she says, I'm Chris Campbell. I'm a representative of the Carpenters District Council of Ontario. First, let me tell you a little bit about my. I came to Canada about 30 something years ago, as I was about 18 years old, from Kingston, Jamaica. Um, Joined the union about a year and a half or so after coming here and doing a few not kind of odd jobs along the way until I got in the union and changed my course. It took me a while back then to get in the union. Unlike today, you can show up the same day and get signed up, and if you have experience in your safety course, you can go out to work. Back then, it took a long time, so things were a little bit different back then. Like Rokhaya was saying, she's completing or trying to complete her apprenticeship. It took me about 4 years to complete mine, less than 4 years actually, to complete mine. I completed mine in 1994 and wrote my certificate of qualification at the Ministry of Training Colleges and University. And it's the same certificate you get if you're a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber, or mechanic, or hairdresser. They have their exams at the Government of Ontario office downtown. You go, you make an appointment, you go and you do your test, and that's kind of ultimately what you want when you get registered to start an apprenticeship. So I did that, wrote my ticket. I'm a licensed journeyman. Then I went on to work for several years as a carpenter. Then soon after that, on some projects, they appoint you there's foreman or supervisor. After that, an opportunity came up for me to be an instructor at the College of Carpenters and All of Trade, where Rokhaya and Musilius Joe did their apprenticeship or is doing their apprenticeship. Back then, we just called it the training center. No, it has a nice fancy name, CCAT, College of Carpenters and All Trades. I taught there for 2 years, teaching apprenticeship carpentry, and after that, an opportunity came up to be local 27 business representative. So business representative organizer. Over the 17 years that I was doing it, at some point I'm working as an organizer, and some point to switch back and forth as a business representative, dealing with members' issue, day-to-day issue on site, or as an organizer, you try to unionize non-union company. So that's 17 years. Then I was asked to take on the job as the equity diversity representative of the Carpenters District Council. One of the reasons why they asked me to do is because I was activity, not just taking care of membership issue, but local community organizations like the Black Business and Professional Association, the Jamaica Canadian Association, the CBTU, I think Rokhaya mentioned earlier, Coalition of Black Trade Unionists, and many more. organization, even the Toronto Police Services. I was an auxiliary officer part-time there, police officer part-time there, for Toronto Police Services. So it was, you have your full-time job as a union rep, but when I get permission from Miss Campbell, I would go out and my time and give back to the community. So I think that's one of the main reasons why I end up being asked to accept the job as equity, diversity, and inclusion person of the district council, the Carpenters District Council, the provincial body of the union in Ontario. Next, as an equity, diversity, and inclusion representative, I always explain or just state what that is all about, as stated in our local Trade Talk magazine, where it says a major focus of my responsibility is to address issues of racism, fight discriminatory hiring practice, and promote our trades to women, persons in the BIPOC community, and also be proactively fostering and encouraging effective relationship with local community partners around the province. My job is provincially, but because of COVID-19, I wasn't able to travel around the province doing much up until a week or two ago when Doug Ford kind of lifted the ban. I couldn't do anything for over 6 months. Everything I had to do was I could only do stuff through Zoom. Well, now I am starting to travel around or fly around the province and to see what's happening and learn and share ideas from other areas, from one area to the next. The Carpenters District Council of Ontario have about 30,000 members, right, throughout Ontario. And they've been around, I think this year is their 140 years. So they have a long of being in Toronto and around the province, right? But Toronto is the main office, or district council office is in Toronto. The membership of our union reflects the diverse cultures, religion, races, and sexual orientation of folks in the city of Toronto. We're not 100% there yet with the different levels of our union, where it's always pointed out to me, yes, the membership is diverse, but the different committees and executive boards are not as diverse as it should be. So I'm openly admitting that we're not there yet, but we're continuously working. Myself and other folks are continuously working, because change sometimes takes a while, but I'm proactively talking and encouraging the conversation. Up until this morning, I was in my president's office, asking him to make adjustment to how things have been working for 140 years in Ontario. But we're getting there, and I see it this way. At least now, today, we can have a conversation. Back then, folks wouldn't dare have that conversation. You knew your place, so I'm happy that at least now I can have that conversation without being without feeling threatened or uncomfortable approaching the leadership of the organization of the Carpenters Union.
Awesome.
And folks, there are a lot of people with the mindset that having an equity diversity director in their leadership is equivalent to giving up control of their legacy and their traditions. But I think through dialogue and training and workshop, we will show or make people feel more comfortable, which shouldn't be the case, but make people feel more comfortable with the idea of having a diverse, having diversity in the organization at every level, and that's one of my main objective. What else can I say? Rokhaya, you want to interrupt a little bit, or you want me to continue going?
No, we could now introduce, thank you so much. You know, like I told you guys, Chris is full of experience. He's an expert. I don't know if like somebody's texting me saying that the voice is fainting. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was able to hear you very well. I don't know if anybody else was having the same problem. If not, it's good.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
Oh, good.
perfect.
Okay, it's perfect.
Perfect, thank you. So what I'll do is right now, I'm going to get Carine Kouamen to introduce herself. I know she'd prefer that I introduce her, but yeah, she's going to introduce herself. And afterwards, I'll just give you a quick rundown as to how what we're going to do. All right. So Carine, c'est ton tour.
Hey. Thank you, Rokhaya. Thank you, Afropolitan, for the event. And I have to say, I couldn't agree more with what Chris said. It is really important to keep the conversation going. So my name is Carine Kouamen. I am in the financial industry. So I have no idea when it comes to trades, except for what Rokhaya told me. So I hope she trained me well. So I am a diversity and inclusion advocate, and I think we should all be diversity and D&I advocates, because it is a very important topic, and as Chris mentioned, it's important to keep the conversation going until we really get, you know, everybody at the table. So that is something that I am really interested in. I am a mentor, I am a leader for those around who are familiar with Manyata Network. I used to lead that organization for a little while. I'm also part of the Mosaic group at work. So I do, as I said, enjoy conversation about diversity and inclusion. And I really hope that, you know, by the end of tonight, we will have shared and discussed enough to kind of move to continue to move the needle a little bit. So glad to be here.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So what I wanted to talk about first and foremost, as Chris was saying, when it comes to the Carpenters Union, we're about 30,000 men and women. And we also are in the United States, but primarily here in Canada. So before we tackle anything else, I wanted to share with you, like just show you a video about a little house that is being built, because I know a lot of people always walk around and see a construction site, things are being built. As you know, Canada has two weathers. What I usually say, it's winter and construction, because construction are going on consistently. We work, to tell you the truth, we work when it's -20, -10, when it's raining. We stop working only if, for instance, we are on major sites where we're outside and the cranes cannot function that day. So that means we cannot work, they send us home. But before doing that, I would just want to show you a little picture or a video of a miniature house that is being built and what goes on there. And then afterwards, we're going to talk about a bit about the construction industry. And then from there, we'll go with the fireside chat about diversity and inclusion. So Fatma, can you please do me the favor and putting the video on about the miniature house? Thank you. So there are no sounds, just a bit of music, so you'll watch.
Est-ce que c'est normal qu'il n'y ait pas de son, Rokhaya?
Oui, c'est normal. I mentioned il n'y aura pas de son. You're just going to watch. It's just going to show. If not, also there's music though. Fatma, do you want to put the volume of your laptop because there's at least the music? Merci, Farah.
Yeah.
The video is gone. Okay, it's coming back. If it doesn't, it's okay, I guess. It's just usually little music, and then it's just showing what we're doing, the layout. So this is really what the carpenter will do. We prep everything prior to the concrete being poured. So put all the stud, the joist. This is really, they're building the foundation. I'm just adding more people. People are joining. All the conduits. The columns. We wouldn't cut it like that though, but yeah, usually the video for those who just joined has a bit of music, but it's, which is fine. We can still watch it without any sounds, but it's just a snapshot as to what we do as carpenters and what happens when you're building a house, a mini house. Like this is actually a real mini house. But as the local 27, we're more into the commercial. We are building a lot of, we worked in major projects, which I'll have Chris talk about afterward in MJ. I worked at Hard Rock Forming, which is a multi-billion-dollar project. And it was at Woodbine Casino Hotel. That's what we were building. And I was building just like everybody else. There were about 350 gentlemen, and I was the only Black woman in there. Hence, we're talking about diversity and inclusion today. And it was really fulfilling, really, really great. And so right now they're making the floor, like they're building the floors. Oh, the stairs, as you can see. So all this we do as carpenters. The roof, the insulation. It's a really nice, quick video that gives you at least a little overview. But this is the residential part. We work on commercial. I wish the music was playing, but it's still fine. I hope you guys are okay with that. And this is the mini house. As carpenters, we're the one who's laying everything. Not sure if you have questions. Maybe we could tackle the questions before we start talking about what else do we do as carpenters. Thank you so much, Fatma. So any questions, anyone? Hello? Can you hear me though, at least?
Yes, we can hear you. Maybe include the link of the video in the chat so that people can, watch afterwards on their own.
Sure, for sure. I'll definitely do that.
I have a quick question for you, Rokhaya.
Sure.
So Yeah, who's doing the foundation of the house? Is it a carpenter?
It's yes, we are the one laying it out, but it's a lot of different teams that are working with us. We have the concrete, the laborers, but us, we're the one who would make sure that everything is leveled, and place all the we will level everything to make sure that we have where how can I call it, to make sure that we lay the joist, we make sure that we lay the slab, I would call it a slab. And prior to doing that, we'll make sure that everything is plumb and level. And then the concrete, the iron workers will come and lay their rebars, making sure that everything is there. We will have also the electrician who's going to make sure that all the conduit. So us as the carpenter will make sure that we put all those little boxes on where those conduits, where you have electricity needs to go, water needs to go, so on and so forth. And from there, making sure that it's all sealed before they pour the concrete. And once the concrete is poured, then from there, the 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 foundation is done, and then we start putting the floor joists, putting everything else to make sure that we're building, either if we're doing a hotel, hospitals, buildings, commercials, universities. Do you know where you guys are right now in your own homes? We're the one who built it, actually. And this is something that Chris always mentioned.
So I got a quick question. I think you have Miss Melissa's Joe on the line also, and she's a formwork
Yes.
person. So Ulysses, you probably could tell us a little bit about the foundations, because I know you do foundations all day long sometimes. So tell us about foundation, whether it be a commercial or a housing project. Tell us what you do, because I know you are a journeyman carpenter. So tell us some of the things that you do in terms of foundation and so on.
We can't hear you. I think she's having problems. Let me see if I could unmute her. I was going to give you guys a bit of.
Yeah, I think she's having a little problem. So until she comes back, um, unless you're building like a project that goes down 2-3 stories, 3-4-5 stories below ground, the principle of building the foundation walls is the same, just like you saw it there, whether you're doing a house or you're doing a plaza in a mall, right? First you have to do your footings, and that was represented in the replica that you have there. You have your footings, and then now you put your wall on top of your footings. And it's the same where in the replica there you saw where they had the base for columns, where you saw where they're going to have columns going up, right? They would build that concrete base to take the weight for the structure that's on top. So basically what Rokhaya is saying is whether you're doing a strip mall or a housing, it's the same principle. The only difference is that maybe you have ratings, like different ratings of concrete or different design of the walls, right? And in the residential, you probably have a weeping tile or something, which is more like a drain along the outside perimeter of the house. And she could probably get into that, or you could Google it at some point, weeping tile that has
Alumni
the outside.
systems.
But Rokhaya, not Rokhaya, Melissa's
She's
Can
having
you guys hear
problems.
me?
Oh, now she can. Yeah, we can hear you.
go ahead.
Oh, okay, great. Wow, holy. Yeah, so Where do I begin? Now I'm blanking because I'm having a bit of technical difficulties here, guys.
No worries, no worries. But I know that
Yeah, where were we?
regarding the foundation, who builds it, it's usually us but we work
Yeah.
with 7 different teams. So
Us
they want
carpenters, we do footings and foundations, and all the columns to hold the building, piers, that sort of stuff. And like Chris was saying, yes, sometimes it does have a different rating, so it's gonna vary. And we also do a lot of, we also put in a lot of concrete stairs, not only just the footing and foundations. We put in a lot of the stairways that are concrete also.
Yeah. So these young ladies, that's what they're gonna be doing. They're doing the same work as you see those people, those Italian and Portuguese and other cultures, building away. That's what these young ladies. Rokhaya is in a 4 more class right now, and she loves it. She absolutely loves it. And you have Musilius Joe, who's been working scaffolding, form work, and she can measure up to any guy out there. She can stand shoulder to shoulder. I've seen her done it. I've seen her on site. She tells you that's what she does with a medium to large size formwork contractor. I won't name a name. That's up to you. But yeah, she's pretty good, and I admire her ability to stand on her own and just be yourself and be proud of her trade, right? Because it takes a lot of endurance, because there are challenges sometimes that a young lady would face on a construction site that probably myself wouldn't face. But I don't want to lead a conversation. This is a night for Rokhaya to moderate and just throw out the questions, and wherever I can jump in to help. So go ahead, Rokhaya.
For sure. Yeah. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you.
No, but I was just, okay, if you don't mind, I just wanted to point out something about what was just said. So when Liz was talking, in the back of my mind, I was saying, how many people, if I can just do a little poll, like how many people on the call actually know what the trades means, or what does it entail? Because when we talk about diversity and inclusion, there's a part of education there. So if people don't even know what the trades are, because Chris, I can tell you, when you say carpenter, if Rokhaya didn't tell me about her job, and from a French background, and I'm translating this is somebody who puts the roof, who put on the roof. So there is a part, I think that there's a part of, if you have to go into, the whole subject of diversity and inclusion, and the fact that we don't have enough women or enough Black people within the trades, I think there has to be a part of educating the communities about what, these trades or this job entails. That's all I wanted to add, Rokhaya, before we move.
I agree 100%, because a lot of people, as we saw the poll earlier, people were wondering, I was asking what type of career that exists in the construction industry. People are forgetting about the project manager who's leading the project. People are forgetting about the estimator. We have those laborers who are making sure that all the items are ready, stripping down. If anything, we need to do the excavation. The soil needs to be assessed. So we need those engineers that need to make sure that they check that out. We also have the electricians. Yes, MJ?
I think for us too, it's the barrier of we don't when I go on site, it's even in my company, it's a lot of brothers who bring their cousins and they bring their brother-in-laws, right? So our problem is we don't have access. And for the few, not even just not having the access, we just don't know, right? And our neighbors, a lot of those guys even bring their neighbors because their neighbors look like them, right? And so they bring their neighbors to work. So for us too, it's like once we up our numbers also, and also getting the information out there. We've done a lot of community outreach, and like advertisement on the radios, newspapers. We just need to continue doing that stuff because and until it gets to everyone and everyone knows these opportunities are available for them.
All right. Thank you, MJ. So what for the College of Carpenters and Allied Trades, what they do, they've been in existence for a long, long time. What they do is they train us and anybody who is interested in the trade, they train you from beginning to end. If, for instance, you want to do the pre-apprenticeship program where they teach you how to, you need to just have first and foremost, let me rewind first. You need to first and foremost, as a carpenter, you need first and foremost to at least have your grade 10, but usually, or we'll say grade 12 math and English, so that at least you'll be able to communicate. But the great thing is with the Carpenters Union, the college, they do have some other languages also that are being trained in Portuguese, Italian. One of my teachers was actually mentioning that. When it comes to the college, we do hands-on practical training where you're actually building an alumni system. It's a wall where you'll be putting all the, I don't want to talk technical, that's why, but it's all, you know, the whalers, you need to put all the, like, there are so many different things that I wish I had the video, but this is a different session that I'm going to give you guys step by step what we do in training. Today is mainly more about diversity and inclusion, but I wanted to give you guys at least a little snapshot as to what we do as carpenters. And as a carpenter, these walls where you're sitting, where it's well insulated in your house, we do that. The roofs, the floors, and so on and so forth. Like, Chris Campbell has a way of explaining it really well. And I want to actually explain
all
it.
right, let me give this a shot then. Let me come back online there. Okay, so I like what she says. There's several recruitment processes because we're not all the same. We're maybe teenagers, you may be people changing careers, you may be newcomers to the country, but let me touch on it a little bit. Okay, so you have folks coming from the high school. You're 18, you're finishing high school, or you're doing this oh no, they call it they have, I can't remember the name, but you have the OYAP training, and we recruit youths from the different high schools across the GTA, or GTA as in Peel, Toronto, York, or Durham, right? And some year they may take 15, some year they may take up to 70. I've seen them take up to 70 folks, and that includes anyone that's looking for an opportunity. So that's one entrance, right? But for BIPOC individuals, to me, it's always a really small amount. So your chances is get slim sometime to get selected to the OYAP process, right? There's other process where you have the choice program or craft program, right? That's a limited way also. You have the ability, if you're finished high school, to go through one of the community organizations like the YMCA, United Way, TCBN, Building Up, Trade Links. These are organizations that will probably help you financially and give you mentoring to get in the trades when you're not as a 18-year-old high school student, but as someone that has finished high school. The next one is I want to touch is newcomers to the country. You were in Africa or Europe or Australia or wherever it is, and you come here and you explain, hey, I was a construction worker, I was a carpenter specifically, and I want to get in the trade. You I would suggest you take up the phone, call the union or call a representative, Google, call a representative, and they will invite you in, give you a date to come in and evaluate your experience. It's not as difficult because if you can talk construction, it's easy to evaluate your experience. Or the world is very small today, and one phone call to someone that you were working with abroad, because some of the time the system that you work with in Saudi Arabia, in Spain or Portugal is the same system they work with here. Example, in formwork, where you're using a Miva system or Perry system, the panel system where they put the panels together and pour the formwork, it's the same. It's an international system. It's the same. So some things are universal, and so it's easy to evaluate you. Or sometimes I've seen where they give you an opportunity to go out and work with a contractor for a couple of days to show what you can do. Right. I'm not saying that's a standard practice, but I've seen where that has worked. So you can come through as an OYAP student, Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, where they assist you to get in the trade. You can come as someone who missed the OYAP boat, but you still want to get in the trade. You can come through that process, or a new immigrant, or someone that's changing career. The government offer assistance to those who want to change career. You were in the automotive industry, and the plant closed down. You want to change. You don't have any carpentry experience, but you could get funding from the provincial government or federal government or whichever level of government, and they will help you to get in a training program and get some exposure. Your For the carpenters union, and I think for most or all unions, your religion, your race, your sex, your culture is not a factor. It's what you can do when you get to the site. It's about most of the time the contractors or the company's concern is you producing. Because when you produce, you make money. You make money for them, they're happy. So most of the time, that's what it's all about. You're gonna have challenges. You're gonna have people who are just evil, who are just rude, obnoxious. But we cannot continue on that. You cannot put everyone in the same boat, right? And one person asked me this question. He says, "What if you were previously incarcerated?" And because a lot of folks, I know, privately ask me that question, and I say, "Look, again, it comes back to the same thing. When if you had a problem in your past, right, and you're no longer incarcerated, you're a free person." The union will not turn you away. We're not going to turn you away. But what I would want to explain to you is, okay, you have to, it's a good thing to be punctual. It's a good thing to be able to get along with your colleagues on the job. It's a good thing to just stay on the straight and narrow, right? Because again, people care about your production. They don't care if you're tall, short, fat. Nobody cares about that. What they care about is what you can do at the end of the day. And if you can stay focused and produce and make money for the company and whatever task you're assigned, then you have half the battle won. But I would be remiss if I didn't say, look, on some projects, probably a school board project or maybe a government project, which is probably about 3 to 5% of the entire industry. That's like that, or less than that, I would say. So your chances of you having a history of being incarcerated that won't stop you from pursuing a life in the trades. You're a plumber or electrician. People care about, the union care about what you're doing with your life going forward. Now, I could forward a list of trades to you in a bit, or I could forward that to Rokhaya after, where you have trades like the boilermakers, the heat and frost insulators, the painters, the carpenters, the iron workers, the plumbers. They call it United Association of Plumbers. You have millwrights, you have drywall, you have masonry trades, you have refrigeration workers, electrician, operating engineers, the sheet metal, so many. I think it was about 15 of them, and even Leona, the laborers, right? And the tile setters, the tiles in your washroom. That's all a trade, you must. It's important for you to know. Okay, you're an apprentice. Usually, the apprentice starts at half the rate of the journey person. A journey person is someone, for the most part, is someone that has 4 to 5 years experience, and sometimes they write their CFQ, and sometimes they don't. It's not as critical sometimes, depending on the trade. But the important thing that folks always want to know about is how much money you'll make. I think Rokhaya said earlier, a journey person in the trades, you're looking at about 42 to 45 or so an hour, and that doesn't include your pension, your benefits, and your vacation pay. Right? When you say vacation pay, that's 10% more. So if you're making $45 an hour, that's another $4 and something an hour. If the pension is about $8 an hour, the benefits that the employer pays on your behalf is I'm not sure. That's close to probably $7 an hour, but it works out to an additional $15 an hour in addition to your regular rate. So you for the most part, you're making more than your teacher. You're making more than an engineer that just finishes high school. No, sorry, finish university. You're after you finish 4 years, he or she finished 4 years, you're gonna be making more as a tradesperson. And that's just your normal hourly wages. That doesn't include you being a skilled person. In this day and age, everybody wants work to be done. So you finish your regular job, you throw your tools in your car, your truck, there's always somebody asking, Rokhaya, Melissa's, can you build this for me? I'll pay you. Can you repair this for me? I'll pay you. So you have the option to even go and make money on the side. And if you are probably have a home, or depending on your neighborhood, there's always opportunity to make money on the side, because you'll never lose your skill. You'll have that for the rest of your life. Rokhaya, I see you beckoning there. You want to run with it?
Yeah, no, that's so true. And also for those who want to know more about how to join us, like for the apprenticeship program, for instance, you working as you're learning as you're earning, which is really amazing. So that means if you already have somewhat knowledge of how to use the hammer, what to do, if you have experience in construction, and then know your math. If not, you could even take classes on the side for those who haven't done math for a long time. It's really good. Or come to the College of Carpenters and the CCAT, they call us. And you start as an apprentice at $21 and change, or $22, and depending on the site you work in and the company, sometimes it's slightly a bit. Sometimes you will get after 6 months or 3 months, because some of my colleagues told me they got a raise right away, a $6 raise. Then afterward, we have, that's the first year. So during the apprenticeship program, you have to do at least 1,800 hours. That really solidified for you to have experience, knowledge on the job side. You're not going into class, you're actually working. They match you, they put you with a journeyman and or journeywoman. And then from there, you're working, doing exactly the same work. You're being paid, but at least you're collecting your hours. Once you have the 1,800 hours, you go to the next step, which is you need to do basic, which is the second term. Second term is about $25.84 an hour or more. And also what Chris, I forgot to mention to everyone, they pay us also for weekly transportation or parking. So that's not with, like on my paycheck, I would see $40 every week that I used to get just for going to work. So which is really amazing. And you're part of the union, so you could literally consistently do your training. Some of them are online, but mainly most of them are like hands-on. You will be able to go do your basic, where while you're doing the basic training is about 7 weeks. 7 weeks you could be on EI and get some funding so that at least you'll be able to still leave, pay your rent or your mortgage, so that at least you're doing the training. There, once you finish the second year, you need to do also again, you need to have again like 1,800 hours, but it's maximum, I think about 3,600 hours. Once you finish that, you go to the next term, which is intermediate. And in the intermediate, you're getting paid about $30.28. You still have the title of an apprentice, even though you're doing exactly what everyone is doing on the site. You're building, you're learning, you're communicating. And like he was saying, you need to be on time. If you're showing up, you're not sick, absent consistently, you know you're the best friend of the foreman, because project needs to be done, things need to be done completely, so on and so forth. There are a lot of certifications that needs to be done, like WMS, health and safety, basic health and safety, occupational hazard. So you know exactly, you know the safety, you know to make sure not to get somebody killed or yourself killed. And you'll get those certificates. You need to get confined spaces, working at heights, and there's one more that I'm forgetting, WMS, basic working at heights. And confined spaces, yeah, those four. You need those before you start on any job site. And the WMS expire every year. Working at heights and the confined spaces are lifetime certificate. And sorry, working at heights is every 2 years. Every 2 years. And confined spaces, I said Asafula, confined spaces and a basic health and occupational, that's continuous. So, and I forgot to tell you, third term, you're doing, I think intermediate, we're learning to do the stairs. And then advanced, you're doing the roof, and you're getting paid. Fourth term, you're getting paid $36.81 an hour or more, depending on the site, your knowledge, what you do, and how well you do your work. And you need to have at least a maximum of 7,200 hours. Then you could go do the exam with the government, the Ontario, and then you'll be recognized as a journey woman or journeyman, which is we call journey person. So it's really mind-boggling and it's amazing. So.
And also, I just want to add that sort of was my main reason why I joined DOCO 27, because I found out like I could break up my schooling. Like I didn't have to sit in school and collect loans, debts, right? So I could break up my schooling. And also, the great thing that we didn't also mention is you get grants. So every phase of schooling you do, you get $1,000. Once you pass your red seal, you get $2,000. And if you're a female, I think you get $3,000.
Yes, and also.
And there's also apprentice grants while going to school.
Yes.
To cover your schooling costs.
And also, believe it or not, the tools are extremely expensive. Especially you cannot get those cheap home tools that you're getting. You need to literally get real tools, and they could break the hammer and everything. So what is great about the Toronto Community Benefit, the CCAT and all, they partnered with several different organizations where you could literally get up to $3,000, like MJ is saying, $3,000 grant, free money to go purchase your tools and your clothes, clothes, the pants and everything. I had to dress up to show you guys today. just excited, but I know with time, we need to start going into the fireside chat soon. But before we do that, I just wanted to ask if you have questions and concern. Oh, I forgot to tell the journeyman, like Chris was saying, then it's about $42.95 to $45 an hour. And you could make easy 100,000, 200,000 a year. So come join us. What I'll do is we could open the
I have
floor.
a question.
Everybody muted
again.
and- Sure, go ahead.
So how long does it take to get trained? I mean, the program, how long does it take? Like if I see someone who wants to become a carpenter, how long does it take, the whole program, right? And what's the cost?
4 to 5 years, you could do your apprenticeship.
Yes, 4 to 5 years. However,
Okay.
when you start, you are starting, like you could do the, for instance, you have really basic knowledge. Do the pre-apprenticeship program where they teach you concrete formwork, how to build the walls, how to measure, how to do the calculation, so that at least when you're on site, if you don't know how to use the hammer and whatnot, we have amazing teachers that could teach you. We have a video that I wanted to share, but I'm looking at time, pressing for time because we're finishing at 8:30 and I wanted to really do the fireside chat. But it is like MJ is saying, is 4 to 5 years. However, you're starting as a carpenter, as an apprentice in the first year right away. Once you have your 1800, you're moving to the next step. So you could, and those trainings are 7 weeks at a time.
Is it 4 to 5 years full time?
No, you're working.
No.
You're working full time pretty much. If you're working as an apprentice, you are working as a carpenter on the job site. So when I was working at the Woodbine Casino Hotel, I was an apprentice and I was working there on my first year apprentice, and I was working, building just like everybody else, but I was matched with a few journeymen and ended up being with Angelo, who was amazing because we could really communicate very well, because communication is really key when it comes to construction so that nobody gets killed. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, and it takes 4 to 5 years because within the trades, I think you got to get used to the idea that layoffs will come as soon as you get to an end of a project. So like, yeah, you could work for 6 months and you make a ton of hours, right? And then you might get laid off for a week, maybe 2 weeks, 2 months. And it takes you a little while to get going again. So that's why it takes 4 to 5 years.
And then while you're laid off, you could do those trainings.
Okay. And the cost, like you're getting paid while
oh yeah, you're getting paid for
okay.
Yeah, you're getting paid. Well, even though we call it apprenticeship, you are working and earning. So you're starting about $21 to $22 or $23 an hour just as an apprentice first year, where you are on the job site and working. And this is commercial though, by the way, not residential.
Okay.
And that's what we work in commercial.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before I just give a quick, we're going to do the fireside chat about diversity and inclusion. Any questions, any other questions? Thank you, Majama. No, so we'll move on to the next. So what we'll be doing, oh, do you know what? Fatma, do you want to show that video? Do we have time?
Yeah, sure, I can.
Yeah, we could do, because the fireside chat can be just a quick 20 minutes or 15 minutes. Yeah, you could do the last video, please, and then from there. So the video you're about to see, it's a video about the college itself, where we are actually doing our trainings, or where some of us did our trainings hands-on. So she's going to share it right now. I hope the sound will work.
I am Chris Campbell, a representative of the Carpenters Union, Local 27. Today we're at 420 Roundtree Dairy Road at the College of Carpenters. Come and join us. There are several different sectors that we train our apprentices to work in the construction industry. Behind me is the scaffolding department of the College of Carpenters. Here, there's lots of ledgers and standards being stored. If you look up top, you'll see suspended scaffolding. Those are generally built in power plants and refineries across Ontario. The classroom, the students are now in class at the moment, so we'll come back later and showcase that. I'm here with Delio Vieira. He's our basic carpentry instructor. Delio, tell me about basic carpentry at our training center.
Thanks, Chris. At our center, we focus in basic on hand tools and how to manipulate lumber to join it together. Over here we have a joint paint project where on each of the 4 corners, it's a different piece of joinery laminating the pieces together. They'll build a toolbox at the end where they use the traditional dovetails to glue all these pieces of wood together to make a box. A little bit of glue, but it's all the strength of the wood and the locking of the wood that contributes to its strength.
Do you find when a lot of the students that comes in to do basic, do you find some of them comes in brand new, no exposure to carpentry? What's the mix do you have?
It's a very good mix. As you know that they're coming in, a lot of people are coming in as a second career now.
Yes.
So they have worldly experience, and there's definitely quite a few transferable skills that they could do. For the younger generation, there's a bigger learning curve, definitely, but for the older, transferable skills count for a lot.
Nice, nice, nice. Good job. Keep up the good work. We're very proud of the work that you're doing at the Carpenters.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you.
So this is our timber department, and our instructor, Jason Monroe, will be telling us some more about the timber department. Jason, come on over.
Chris, how you doing?
Not bad, not
Good,
bad.
good.
Jason, tell us about the class over here.
So this is our mass timber area. It's dedicated to mass timber structures. So we deliver a course in erecting mass timber structures. It's kind of an old technology brought back and renewed. And so this course is dedicated into getting students ready for the job to learn how to put the whole system together, how to read the blueprints, how the screws go in, the fasteners go in, steel plates, and all the accessories that go along with it, like any other system in carpentry. So we're really excited about the course. It's coming back. We're getting more and more buildings coming to the Toronto and GTA with this type of product. So it's, cutting edge, and we're excited to have it.
Jason, do you find a lot of our members are getting registered for it? Do you find a lot of interest from our members?
There's absolutely a lot of interest. There's from people that are already in the industry and already working as carpenters, and they know what's coming. They're excited and they want to be part of it and see how it goes together. And they're asking, how do I get on those jobs and where's the jobs? Because it's fairly new. So hopefully the contractors and the people building the buildings can appreciate it and want to get on board as well. So,
thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
My next instructor is a gentleman by the name of Clifton Donegal. He's someone that I had the honor, the privilege to work with maybe 2 or 3 decades ago. We started off, and he's from the same city that I'm from in Jamaica, which is Kingston. Clifton Donegal.
Hi. Yeah, my name is, as Chris said, Clifton Donegal. We've been friends for a long time, ever since I came to Canada and started in this trade. I was in construction back in Jamaica. I worked with my brother. He built homes. But as far as a particular trade is concerned, I focused on carpentry when I came here. And Chris was one of the first guys that I worked with, and he made every effort to make me feel welcome, to make me comfortable, like a mentor actually. because he had been here a little while before me. I went through my apprenticeship and I worked at places like Petro-Canada, Ontario Hydro as a radiation protection coordinator, and I ended up working here as an instructor. This is a blessing for me in the sense that I get to see a lot of upcoming carpenters, apprentices, and this is where you get to impart your knowledge, and this is where you get to shape them. I'm currently a mentor with TCBN, and this is mentorship continuously. This is where it's most important to have them understand the rigors outside and giving them the tools they require to survive out there, because that's what it is, right? If you can't do the work, you will not last long. So it is important that as the instructor, you give them the proper training, the proper guidance, and of course, that's the only way they're going to make it out there. I have been doing this for 12 years, and I'm looking forward to another 8 years, 10 years, whatever is required for me to keep doing what I do.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
One of the advantages of becoming a carpenters union apprentice is you earn while you learn. Good wages, good pension, ongoing training. If this is what you're interested in, a career in the construction industry, please contact the Carpenters Union Local 27. My name is Chris Campbell, and I am a representative of the Carpenters Union and also the Diversity Inclusion Representative. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So now we're going to move forward with the fireside chat. So I don't know if you people know in general that the skilled trade sector right now is lacking workers. And the reason being is mainly because we have a lot of baby boomers, where the aging population, they are all retiring. So at this moment, it's impacting the industry. It's impacting also the economy. So we have like major problems where we need to hire more people. We need, what would I call it? We need like, I don't know if you guys know that Canada has become like, it is really good at producing different careers, whether it's a doctor, a manager in telecommunication, bureaucrat, bank tellers, I would say accountant, government officials, engineer, computer scientists, doctors, etc. However, the mindset is so different when it comes to the trade. People look at it or view it as a second option instead of an actual career. And also, the reality is we don't have too many diverse people into the trade. Back then, we have more Italians, non-colored, like the BIPOC people were really lacking. So at this moment, it is with honor and my pleasure to have Chris Campbell, MJ, Carine to come and discuss about what can we do, what is happening, what are the roadblocks, and etc. I'll be asking a few sets of questions, and then we're going to go right on to the nitty-gritty. On that note, thank you. So the first question I have for you, Chris, so Chris, what type of barriers, I know you mentioned it at the beginning when you were doing your introduction, but what kind of barrier exists right now when it comes to diversity, like getting to have more people of color into the trade?
Okay, so what type of barriers? Look, I always reflect back for a second first, and if you listen to what I said earlier, 32 years ago, when I approached the union, it took me a year and a half right, to get in the union, I was naive to to what was happening. But years later, going through the process, I realized that there were barriers I feel that was there, but it's subtle. It was very subtle, and it stopped you in your tracks. Today, 30 odd years later, I can proudly say, right, that at this point today, that if this is a career that you're interested in and you approach me and in general any of the representative, you instead of waiting a year and a half to become a member, you will be signed up in the union to become a member. And if there's training available, whether it be safety training or any skill improvement training or apprenticeship training, if it's scheduled, you can easily just register because you're in the door at that point, right? So there's less of any type of a barrier to stop you as opposed to back in the days. And before my time too, it was well known that the not just the carpenters, but other construction trades, we weren't allowed, or it was very difficult to become members of the union and have the privilege. I don't know if I should say it's a privilege, but have the opportunity to probably learn or to earn and have the same benefits as your white counterpart. But now it's much better, and I can proudly say, if you were to call me, or for the most part any of the rep today, what we're doing at Local 27, every local unit have their own process. For Local 27, it will be easy to get in maybe on a Tuesday, because you can't have people lining around the building every day, so because of COVID, etc. But on a Tuesday morning, you just make an appointment and we'll sign you up. In terms of going out to work though, right? Because we have a system, a computer system that sends you out to work, and I think that's a much better system than we had before. The computer don't know if your color, your height, your nothing. They don't know anything. All it knows about you is that you have your safety course, your women's, you're working at height confined, so it's the safety requirement of the province of Ontario, not the union. Doesn't matter what trade you're in. And if you are a new person, and you have your tools, the computer may send you out, because the company would ask for a first year apprentice, and you don't need you don't need that much exposure. But anyone that joins the union, they show up, they want to join the union, and we sign you up as a member. I would encourage you to do as many courses as possible if you don't have any experience or exposure, just to help you to get some exposure, so you don't show up and not knowing which way is up or down, what the name of the material that you're using, how to assemble it, or anything that's related to that. So for your own advantage, instead of going in blind, you're welcome to join, but wait until there's a class. When you join, as soon as a class comes up or a class is available to do some training, get registered in it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does. Thank you. For Carine, I know you are here to really talk to us about diversity and inclusion in the corporate versus, even though yes, in construction we have corporate also sector, but like in the business world versus the construction. So I have a question for you. How can corporate make it better for BIPOC, for Black, Indigenous, and people of color?
Thank you, okay. I have to say there's no cooperation without this. There is no cooperation without construction, and vice versa. So I see it as one in the same, because at the end of the day, we are part, as individuals, we are also part of the corporation. But to the question that you are asking me, I think that, you know, in light of the event of 2020, cooperation, and here when I talk about cooperation, I am mostly talking about, you know, the leadership. They have to be very intentional on, you know, making sure that, you know, diversity and inclusion is really something that they believe in. And you cannot do that without the data. So I think that the first thing that a corporation have to do is to kind of determine who is working for them, right? So it's easy to do through, you know, when you hiring people, getting their data, what is the education, what is the race, what is their you know, gender. It's very simple, so that you can know who is working for you and set up targets. So if you have, I don't know, if the union has hired 1,000 people or got 1,000 members this year, let's just get to the gender, you know, let's just talk about gender, but you can bring it, you can move the same process through the other minority. So if you have 1,000 members and you only have 10 women in 2020, you should really be intentional about what is it that, you know, what is it that you want? Do you want to have, you know, 50 women by the end of 2030? You need to set those targets and then work towards them. You know, if you want to hire 20 women every single year, how are you going to go by doing that? So it has to be well documented, goal set up, so that, you know, it is something that you can look at and see, am I meeting my targets? So when you are recruiting, for example, I know Chris was talking about, if somebody wants to be in the trades, you know, just, you know, call me, contact me, and all of this. That is great. But what about the people who do not know Chris? You know, so if I am, you know, in charge of hiring or recruiting members, I will target, if I really want women to be part, you know, hire 10 women, I should be going after women-led organizations, for example, to talk about what is it that we are doing in the trades and trying to attract women. I should be figuring out, you know, why are women not interested in trade? Is it because they don't have the education? Okay, if they don't have the education, here are the grants, here are the programs that, you know, but it has to be very intentional. It has to be kind of written down, goal setting, and be able to look back to kind of measure your performance based on that. I don't know if that helps.
Oh, this is amazing. I totally agree with you when it comes to setting targets and being intentional when hiring is key. And I believe that that's what we do also with the Carpenters Union. And you're right, if people don't know Chris, that's why we were mentioning earlier, you could definitely, we'll send you the details, but there are so many different things that people can just Google, go online when it comes to the trade and find it. And there are so many different organizations also, just like Afropolitan, who took the first step in having skilled trade on their level of program. I believe this is amazing. And the fact that we also starting to have this conversation and people know that with what's happening now with the pandemic, you cannot just rely on one job or one career. You need to have several different plans just in case anything happened. We have so many people who got laid off because of the pandemic. So what can they do? How can they access to these tools and so on and so forth? Those are the key questions. And I'm so happy to have the privilege to do this today. In press of time, MJ, I have a question for you. What do you think that could be done better to prepare participants to join the trade? What do you think? Or maybe Chris or MJ, whoever want to answer those.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
What could be done better to prepare participants or skilled trade workers to join the construction or to join us, to join the trade?
I think so far, like the training, I've seen most apprentices coming with it's pretty good because like they're coming from the training center, so they pretty know the basics. But I like the only thing I'd like to add like to the apprentices is like, like attitude is everything, you know? Like it doesn't matter what they teach you in the classroom. They teach you everything in the classroom. If you can't transfer it in the field, have a good attitude when you're right or when you're wrong, that goes a long way. And like being punctual and having a strong willingness to learn and being teachable and retaining information. I think those are like some of the keys that are gonna make an apprentice successful.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. And when it comes to those transferable skills, as everybody knows, it's the same thing when you are working in the office or you have your own business. You need to be able to have those positive attitude, being able to be curious, that go-getter, so that at least you could showcase what you're made of. And then also trying to be uncomfortable to be comfortable, so that at least you're learning, you're getting out of your comfort zone, but be prepared, just change that mindset, and you never know what you'll be able to make. Because when it comes to construction, everything is tangible. You work, you see it. All these things that you made, what is, for me, the passion that I have about it is I could walk and say, oh my gosh, I was able to do this. During COVID, believe it or not, I know I'm just going, first of time, I think I'm gonna ask one more question and then I'll mention what I've done during COVID. This question is for Carine or Chris or MJ. What are the conditions for success? I know MJ mentioned it, Carine did, and also Chris, but what are some other key conditions for success so that at least we have more diverse people in the field or at work, in the businesses? What do we need to do? How can we?
I think one of the things that if you call me up, because myself and other representatives, the first thing they always ask, especially because you cannot tell someone age and other description of them just by saying hi. So I ask them certain questions right off the bat. I said to them, "How old are you?" And they usually go, "Why is this man asking me that?" And then I ask him this question like, "Okay, did you complete high school here or back home?" Or I'll ask them, "Do you have experience?" Basic stuff, basic questions like that. Because for me, when I ask you, did you complete high school here or back home? Because you're required to have minimum grade 10 probably for carpentry, and maybe a minimum grade 12 for electrician and probably plumber, right? Why not ask you the important questions right off the bat, so you'll know, look, I'm going to need X, Y, Z in order to get in the trade, instead of driving there, sitting and asking all these questions. And then after, you probably have to send back home for your high school diploma. And when you get the high school diploma, then you're told, okay, you got to get it evaluated. So you spend all that time trying to get it. Then when you get it, you spend a lot of months again trying to get it evaluated. And when you get it evaluated, you come and apply, then it takes you a while again to get processed if there's no one available or whatever delay. So you end up wasting 6 months to a year. But if I ask you right away, what's the academic requirement? Because not everybody at the university, etc., right? So what's the academic requirement? If you don't have the academic requirement, I would just ask you, okay, go to one of the local government agency like a COSTI, I think, employment services. You do a test there, and they'll determine, the test result will let you know what level you are. If you're grade 10, 11, 12, or 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever it is, you'll know right there within a couple of days, and they'll email it to you so you have it in writing. So that's a quick way of clearing it up so there's no misunderstanding. The next thing is, how old are you? Because when I ask you how old are you, then I'll know right away if you're from Canada, then I'll know right away the possibility of you having that high school requirements, the academic requirements, right? And so that's the first thing I get out of the way. Then I'll ask you about your experience, if you have experience. And the challenge is, yes, everyone is going to go, yeah, I did a little of this, a little of that. I says, okay, you're in Canada now and you're in Ontario now. The description of what a carpenter does is, whether it be framing, formwork, scaffolding, caulking, etc. That is what the description of a carpenter is, what they do in the Carpenters Union in Ontario. If you were shoveling, mixing some cement back in the Caribbean or Africa, that's good. God bless you. But maybe that comes under masonry work, right? So by myself asking you these questions, it eliminates a lot of the anxiety and help you to get things moving quickly. Then I may ask you, okay, to start, you're gonna need a little bit of assistance. Are you going to be able to purchase some tools or pay the fee to join the union or any other expense? Do you have a car? Because if you have a car, you're more able to work in Scarborough, in Rexdale, in North York, or in other GTA cities, etc. It makes you more flexible. So all those things I'm throwing at you, not to stop you, but to take away some of the blockage. And by me asking you that, I am able to recommend a community organization that may be available to help you financially. Government funded organization may be able to assist you financially or mentoring you to get things moving quickly, so you can easily get integrated in the trade. So those are the things you should be aware of a little bit, or just reach out to the Toronto Community Benefits or the TCBN. Any one of you, you can Google it. They have their website up and going. Reach out to the list of trades that Rokhaya is going to be providing for you after this at some point. And Google. I always say, if someone called me and asked me, says, and they're telling me what their description of the trade, I said, just Google the carpentersunion.ca or the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, or the UA, the Plumbers Union, Local 46, or Local 46, the tapers and drywalls. Google, like, depending on what description they're giving me of what trade they like, I give them the information and tell them, Google it and look at the training center's website and see if that's what they want. Because you don't want them to be like university, where I was told that during the first year of university, half the students change their mind or going a different direction, right? So by you telling them or explaining or guiding them right off the start there, it'll make a big difference, and they'll waste less time in their lives going around in circles. So yeah, it's important to get those things sorted out as much as you can, help folks as much as you can, and yeah. If you don't know Chris Campbell, that's fine. But contact maybe the TCBN or contact the different trade union training center directly, right? I can't guarantee that it's going to work, but at least give it a shot. And then now contact Rick if it doesn't work or you need more help. Contact Rokhaya, contact, even if you Google Black trade union, Black construction trade unionists, you see a whole bunch, maybe about 20 current construction trade union representative in Toronto that a lot of people didn't know about, right? Because some union doesn't publicize their representatives, right? You know, there's a few representatives from Leona, a few representatives from the plumbers, the IBW, and they're Black. They're just like you and I, and they're willing to share and mentor and help you to get in the trade. So, you know, use it, take advantage of it. And if this is what you're interested in, go for it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lot of information, lot of knowledge. On that note, what I'm going to, there is a quote that I really like, that really speak to me very loudly, and I would love to read it to you. It says here, diversity is having a seat at the table. Inclusion is having a voice, and belonging is having that voice be heard. Because most of the time when we talk about diversity and inclusion and equity, corporations, employers have tendency of just having that check mark. I have a woman, I have Black, I have Indians, oh my gosh, indigenous. I'm saying it in French somehow. I have people of color, so on and so forth. However, what needs to be done is giving them access to be part of the leadership, be part of any initiatives that are being taking into account, so that people can definitely, definitely, sorry, I have the quote here. I have it here, but I'll send it to you guys for sure. People will have access to definitely be part of it. For me, usually what I always said is diversity is all about inviting somebody to the party, but inclusion is about dancing with that person, inviting them to dance, because you want to make sure that those dialogue are happening. Those people are, even the person who's an introvert has also a voice at the table. So on that note, I would like to really thank everyone. We have 5 minutes for questions, unless people want to still stay, and we could have a quick 10 minutes questions. However, what I wanted to do before we do the questions, we have quite a few workshops that are going to happen. Like right now, today was about, I'm just gonna go on my screen here. I have a presentation usually, but I wanted it to be really warm and interactive, even though some people were really shy not to ask questions right now, but showing a presentation would have been really, for me, would have been a barrier. So that's why I wanted it to do it this way. So next session is next week. Friday, July 16th, and it's building your life with a career in the construction trades. Where do I start? What do I need to do? What's in it for me? And what I have is, we have Ivan, who's going to be joining us, and Mamadou. I think Mamadou is with the
Hello?
506. Hello?
Am I there? Can you?
Yes, you're here. Do you want to put this person on mute? Hola. And from there, and then afterward, we have session 3. So please follow Afropolitan Canada, and then you'll get all the details. And then, or you could go on our social media, or rock.g, and so on and so forth. So on that note, oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, this is the presentation I have. So the session 3, skill works, what is out there, so on and so forth. And then we have also session 4, starting your career in construction. The Toronto Community Benefit Network will be joining us with their entire crew to discuss about how to join, what do you need. They even have some contract with the City of Toronto. I'm also part of the mentors. We have mentorship program, and where you could be matched. If you're a mentee, you could be matched with some of the mentors in the trade, and from there you'll have more information and so on and so forth. So on that note, I'm going to open the floor to all. If you have any questions or concerns, we're here to talk to you guys. And thank you so much for taking the time on your busy day on a Friday night to come and hear us out. So thank you.
I have one question for you, Rokhaya, and maybe MJ. Is there a special treatment for women when you work on construction? For example, are you carrying heavy things like men, or is there a yes, I would like to know if there is a special.
Excellent question. Yeah, there are no such thing as.
Yes, there. Go ahead, Rokhaya. Sorry.
No, go ahead, MJ. I love the question.
Yes, they're heavy things, but no one's gonna expect you to pick stuff up that you can't carry. So when you get on site, do what you can. Guys will understand that you can. And to be honest, like right away, most things you won't be able to lift. But within a week or two, maybe 2 months down the line, you learn how to pick things up without, carrying all that weight.
And
You
it
learn the
dep-
physics of how to move stuff.
yes, and it depends on also where
And
you
the
work.
weight also, because like some stuff you don't even pick up, a crane or a machine will move that.
And it depends on where you work as well. Some of the gentlemen, like Chris always said, sometimes somebody and other reps too will say, sometimes they see women as their sister or their cousin, their aunt or mother. So they tend to want to help you, but it depends. Some of them, it's like, you need to prove yourself. For me, I remember I have back issues, but it's just rebuilding the muscles. So now I'm able to carry heavy stuff right on the shoulder, just like everybody else. At first, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is heavy. I'm like, Rock, check yourself. You're at work. You need to do this. So I will, some of the stuff that are extremely heavy, like the Perry Jacks, OMG, I'll show you pictures when we're doing the next session and videos. They're extremely heavy, and I couldn't open it.
I know.
I couldn't hold it. So
on my first job, travel job, I had to pick up a 3-meter standard, and the jack was like maybe 10 inches in the air, and I couldn't even lift it off the ground. My hands just shake. And the guys I worked with at the time were really good. They said, don't worry about it, you'll get it. And they were right enough. A month later, I could do it, right?
Yeah.
So it takes
thing.
time, but you get it.
Same thing, because what you do is little by little, you lift, but you just need to remember how to take care of yourself, have those belts if you have back problems. And then afterward, fair enough, like she just MJ said, after a month, I was able to like put them here, lift the drywall, exactly what they were doing. Because for me, it's like, if they could do it, I should be able to do it. Hey, we're talking about feminism, right? A lot of women, I'm not a feminist, but a lot of women want to be on the same level. So you can't all of a sudden come in construction or come anywhere and expect a special treatment, right? That's me though. And for me, when I see that he's able to lift this, after a few weeks, I'm able to lift it. And I'm like so proud of me. So after 2 months, I was able to lose 25 pounds. Can you believe it? Because it was 20,000 steps, 30,000 steps. I'm not saying it for you guys not to do it. It's not to discourage you guys, but it is so worth it, because at the end of the day, you come and say, this is what I built. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just excited when it comes to construction. Thank you. Any other questions?
There is one question for you in the chat. Is Rokhaya, have you finished your apprenticeship?
No, I haven't finished my apprenticeship program yet. I'm still on my first year actually, because I need the hours in order to move forward. However, because I have construction engineering, technician management, I have experience with Habitat, so I'm able to do things, but I need to go through the same process as anybody else that needs to be a recognized journey person. So yeah. Any other questions?
I have a question for Chris. Do you have to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident to join the union?
No. You the only thing you need is a work permit that allows you to work in the construction industry, right? So in other words, you have your citizenship, fine. You're born here, fine. You're a landed immigrant, fine. If you're visiting or you're here temporarily, as long as the government gives you that temporary social insurance number, and on that paper it says you're allowed to work here, to work in Canada, and it will describe the industries that you're allowed to work in. Right, that's all you need, right? Because the union cannot take you as a member if you're not permitted to work in the country. So that's all you need. Then after you can apply for your permanent status and go through the motion. Because there are so many people that have approached me, and as long as the temporary social insurance number is valid, right? Because the moment they put it in the computer, it just bounces straight to I don't know, Ottawa and bounce it back. So within a second, they'll know if the name connects with the social insurance number. Back in my days, you could go for 6 months to a year before they find out if the social insurance is any good. But now it's immediate. So that's all you need. You need to have a valid work permit to work in the industry, and you're good to go.
Thank you.
So Majema will talk, eh? Any other questions? On that note, I will give the floor back to Fatima to just, do you know what? First and foremost, I want to thank every single one of you for being here on Friday night and also being part of this amazing workshop. Want to also take the opportunity to thank Chris, Carine, and MJ. Really, thank you. Would like to thank also Afropolitan Canada and also CIBC for giving us this opportunity to open ourselves here to give you guys all the details that one will need to join the trade or learn about the trade or at least be part of it. And like we were saying, we even forgot to mention about you have the other careers. The architect are also part of the construction, right? As a career and so on and so forth. So we'll be sending you all the list of all the items we're discussed and also some of the presentation. And I know one of our queen is here, the floor diva, Desiree, she's here. She'll be also one of the special guests in a different series. We have quite a few things that going to happen. So hopefully you guys going to join every single one of you, one of the workshops, and you'll see, you'll learn new things and it's totally different. On that note, thank you so much. If you don't have any other questions, looking forward to seeing you next Friday, same time, 6:30 to 8:30. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rokhaya. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
And hey, yeah, it was really interesting. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Chloe.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Rocky.
Have a good weekend.
See, we had people
Thank
from
you.
everywhere. We have even somebody from Rwanda who logged in, and Senegal, Ottawa, you know? Yeah, so this is amazing.
Thank you, thank you.
And Edmonton, Chloe's from Edmonton. Hey, Maseta.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much.
Good, good. No worries.
Thank you so much, Rokhaya. It was great.
Oh,
Really,
Hadi,
thank you.
merci, merci.
Love that. See you soon.
D'accord, salut.